Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 16 of Red Dirt and Stardust, a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Western and pirate sci-fi campaign. So where we last left our party, they all had finally embarked on the Shell Drake off to Creator's Ridge, where their paperwork will be forged to take them into the Vortex. They had some interesting experiences on the ocean where they met some delighters that delighted them with a wonderful performance and a rainbow, and a sailor or a fisherman named Calamar who gave them some sea glass, which later got transformed into a homunculus, or at least a few pieces of it did. They then faced off against a very rare sea legend known as Old Scrappy, the king of the seagulls, who managed to traumatize a few of the members of the party, but ultimately fell rather quickly and disappointingly. They ended up shoving his corpse off the side of the boat. And after Chauncey got together some sea glass, some gemstones, and some metal bits from earlier, he made a little gynosphinx homunculus that he called Talipo. And we left off with the long rest. The sunlight comes streaming in through the portholes. Those of you who are sleeping near portholes, I should say. And the boat is rocking a little bit less than it does, as it seems you're getting closer and closer to the land, and the water is getting less and less choppy. And so the morning is yours. I would say it's probably about 8 o'clock in the morning, and you'll be pulling into Creator's Hollow around 11. So there's still some time to kill before you land.
Chauncey's basically just making an army of toys.
Yep. Chauncey's actually sprucing himself up early in the morning because, they're going home. So he might as well be a little more presentable than usual.
Yeah, I think Jed is doing the same.
Are we gonna meet the family?
Well, I think before we even land, I'll probably pull everyone together and say, just so you all know, my family runs an inn in the city, so we should have free lodging. I would appreciate some discretion on all of your parts in what I and we all have been up to in Drake's Ridge.
How do you mean?
Don't tell my mom what we've been doing, Velantrios.
Okay, but why?
But wait, what if they ask? What do we say?
Say that we've been good,
How about
upstanding citizens. We can
get
talk about some.
creative?
You can tell her about the salamander. The salamander's free game.
Yeah. Really talk you up to your own mother.
In a similar vein, if we want, we can. Well, I don't know if we should. It's fine. Oh, I'd like to. I mean, I'm
Do
going
you
to
wanna
go
see
visit
your
my
family, Chauncey.
I would like to see mine, but I don't think all of you have to come with me.
Well, none of us are gonna stop you. If you
Unless
want us
one
to
of you
come, we'll be there.
has a particular illness or research topic. It's fine.
Not in particular. Although, I do have to admit, I am curious to see what the homestead's like.
I could always talk about the natural defenses of fauna in regards to illness and biological effects.
You could try
Perfect.
to make conversation with Mother about that. Best of luck.
I come up to Velantrios afterwards. Under no circumstances should you ever talk about anything academic with his mother. She will make you feel like an idiot.
And Blanchus just replies, I live in a forest. You think that's new?
Well, as long as you know what you're getting yourself into.
So the morning passes quite uneventfully, except maybe some strangely shaped clouds, but those are part of the norm. and you eventually pull into the port. And as you do, you notice there are sort of floating around in where the water should be are people riding these sort of, they're not really horses. They have the front half of a horse. They're covered in scales and glittery fins and have the tail of a very large fish. If anyone would like to make a nature check, you can.
It's a Kelpie.
I'll do that.
There are also armored
And
people
Lyla
riding
got a
them.
9.
Nope, these are completely new creatures.
21.
Chauncey got a. You said nature, right?
Yes.
Chauncey got a 19.
I got
what did Shaw get?
21.
I got a 21 too.
Okay.
Hey.
So the three of you would know these are hippocampuses.
Oh,
Yep, I was about to say, nope, it's not a Kelpie.
The
They're
other one.
hippocampuses. Chauncey and Jed, you would know that these guards of the port kind of just make sure that boats get in properly. There is a lighthouse here, but it's also a very, very busy port. They almost kind of act as tugboats on occasion, but also to keep the peace in case any sailors start like throwing fists or jumping over the side of boats or other things like that, just to make sure that things are in line. And of course, one of them calls up to the boat, and the captain, Leonidas, kind of leans over and they have a brief conversation where they get pointed to a dock, and you all pull in, the board goes down, and you are all able to offload into the dock at Creator's Hollow. At this point, Toshiko comes up and says, I believe it will be about maybe around 2 days before they are able to fully process the paperwork, of which I will be spending that time wining and dining quite a few people to make sure that elements go unnoticed. So you will have free range of the city until day after tomorrow morning.
Chauncey's just gonna be like, Toshiko, if you need, I do have one inn at the big old Opry house if you want to wine and dine them there.
I'm sure they will take me there on their own if they need to. But thank you for the offer. It is very helpful. Well, I will go and do that, and we will see you day after tomorrow morning.
Thank you, Toshiko.
She kind of gives a little slight bow and walks away as Oki kind of floats a little bit behind her, turns, kind of blinks, and then raises its tassel and waves it around like a hand before it floats on back to Toshiko. And she vanishes into the crowd of various people that are unloading and offloading, loading and unloading, offloading, various types of loading, the cargo of ships as well as visitors, various types of merchandise, loading and unloading. Thank you very much. Of the ships. And the day is yours.
You'll
Oh,
probably see Lyla in the morning and like walking off the ship, just like you're like going through her black book or whatever, like, oh yeah, who was in oh that's right, okay, yeah. And just like snaps it shut, tucks it back in her bag. Stop that.
making plans there, Lyla?
Oh, just reminding myself who's around,
All right. The only real plan I have right now is to go talk to my family and get us some rooms.
I think that sounds wise.
Do we have any business here, Spencer? We need to get like papers or something, right?
Right.
To like.
Yes, but that is going to be Toshiko's job. She is the
Okay.
one that's making sure all the papers are in order. This time is really just
So
you're
we're just
waiting
waiting.
in port until everything gets approved, everything gets the stamps on it. She's able to lie and forge her way through the paperwork system which might take a little extra time until you get your papers in which you can sail off into the vortex.
Cool.
You want us to come with you, or should we split
Do
up?
you have other things you want to do?
I mean, a few things I'd like to do, but it wouldn't hurt to say hello either.
Well, let's start our day there, and I'm assuming Chauncey and I know of like if there's like magic item shops or like other things that adventurers might want to hit up. Like,
Yeah, there are quite a few, of which I've neglected to make notes of. But there are quite a few that you can definitely visit. You would know that the city is kind of divided up into quarters. There's the arts quarter. This is places where like sculptors, painters, actors, musicians, and people like that tend to sort of group up and live, as well as families around that. A lot of, you know, regular citizens live there as well. But this tends to be where they gather. It's where the most like performing centers are. It's where the old opera house is, that your sister Winifred performs at. And it is also where the Rose Inn is.
So
There's the
basically, sorry. So basically, like Chauncey and Lila's thing.
relatively, yeah.
Mm.
There's then the trade quarter. You are currently in the trade quarter. That's where the head offices of the sort of trading ports are. The different sailing companies and trading companies have their main offices here. That's where Toshiko is going. As well as just like general stores and inns for sailors to stay at. There's the workers' quarter. That's where like the different facilities that are called to maintain the cobblestone streets or to light the lamps or to clean houses and things like that. All the companies, if you wanted to hire a maid or you wanted to hire a butler or you wanted to hire construction workers for your house, you would go to the workers' quarter and you would get stuff there. There's the Scholars Quarter. That's where the Scholomance Library is, that Chauncey's father studied at a bit, as did his mother. That is where that is. It has a vast amount of knowledge, both magical and mundane. And then there's the Priest's Quarter. That's where the Grand Cathedral of O is. And that's where a lot of some of the religious institutions are. The various convents or nunneries or monasteries or whatever you want to call them are there, devoted to the different aspects of O, and go into philosophical study. So you would most likely be, if you wanted to head to the Rose Inn, you would most likely be heading through the Arts Quarter.
all
To
right,
get
everybody.
there.
We're heading towards the arts quarter. Let's get a move on.
Mm.
Miss Lyla, I'm really
How bougie.
interested to see where Jed gets his likeness from.
Is that the part of Jed's likeness you're interested in?
Oh, look, a silver coin. A copper coin on the sidewalk. It's heads up. That's good
Oh
luck.
boy.
Ooh, a shiny penny. Yeah, so you make your way over to the arts quarter. There is definitely a vibe here. There are lanterns that are kind of strung across the streets. There's a lot of coffee shops and bistros and tea shops. There's a lot of art studios and people just playing music on the side of the street, various types. Some of them are like trumpets or guitars, saxophones. There's also a lot of people that are just dancing in the street. It seems to be a very lively sort of quarter. And as you make your way along the street, you do finally make it to a corner. And at this corner is a quiet, quaint little inn. It's about 2 stories. The second story is larger than the first story. There's a single chimney. and there are roses everywhere with a wrought iron fence around the outside of it, keeping the roses from spilling out onto the sidewalk. Um, and there is a little sign on the door that says the Rose Inn. The windows even
Rose
have a bit
Garden
of a
Inn.
pink, even has a little bit of a pink tint to it. And of course, this is familiar as this is your mother's inn, Jedidiah.
I think
Oh,
there's like several couples having dates at the little restaurant area at the bottom. It's a I walk in. It's a popular destination for lovers.
Yes, you
How
do see
charming.
a lovely sort of couple. One is wearing a white dress with a broad sun hat. The other one is wearing quite a nice, like almost pinstripe suit as they're just sitting on one of the little benches in the garden, just kind of chit-chatting with each other, having a nice old time.
We walk on in. I'm like, well, everybody, welcome to the Rose Garden Inn. And
Velantrios,
let's see who's
uh,
working the front. Is it my mom or my sister right now?
It would be your sister. You instantly know it's your sister because you open the door and you just are almost blown back by this raucous laughter that just echoes across the room as you see another couple standing at the front. And they're all doubled over laughing as you see someone who is definitely Jed's sister kind of push her hair back up as she's clearly gone forward, push her hair back up. And, well, here's your key. And I hope you have a very nice time.
is
Ma'am.
sorry, is
What?
his sister a tiefling?
Nope,
Nope.
his sister is a human.
Okay.
Do what?
Surprise.
I walk up to her. I'm like, hi, Cassie.
Hi, Jed. And she literally throws herself over the counter and gives you a hug,
Oh,
like feet
hey.
kicking on top of the counter as she then slides on back. Woo! All right, I'll have to go get
Oh
mom.
my.
So you wait right here. And she then
All right.
runs on up the stairs. Mom,
Oh,
mom, as
oh,
she's just
there
going
she goes.
full tilt up the steps.
My sister Cassie, she's loud.
Gone.
I see the
Okay.
family resemblance.
Velantrios
Mhm.
placed,
I
and
think it's the skin, the
Uh,
complexion.
mm.
he looks at Jedidiah and he's like, "I'm sure, I'm sure you were very popular growing up."
Actually, well, no, I'm not gonna. No, I wasn't. It
Hmm.
was kind of hard, but we don't need to get into that right now. All right, Velantrios. We're with my family, and we're playing it cool.
I mean, if you pay attention to
Hmm.
the structure of their noses, they all have the same nose.
Thank you, Chauncey.
It's like you all weren't forced to study anatomy as a 5-year-old.
I don't even think like you need an insight check to see. There's like 2 decades of many people asking, "Are you guys really related?"
Yeah, like
And then it's just like pissed Jet off since the beginning of time.
Yeah. Yeah, because you all would probably know tieflings are interesting in that they are like a recessive gene where you can get a random redheaded child even if you've been like brown hair, black hair, or blonde hair for generations. But if two redheaded parents get together, you're definitely having a redheaded child.
mhm.
So sometimes tieflings just pop up randomly in human or elven families, but tieflings tend to have tiefling babies. So when a human family has a tiefling baby, questions tend to be asked, even if it's completely natural.
Hmm.
Uh,
Um,
I was gonna say yes, Velantrios would know that, but no, he would not know that.
Fair enough.
Would like most people know that? Or is this like really weird for us also?
Um, I
Yeah,
mean,
I come
it's
from the city, so common knowledge for me.
Yeah, I would say yeah, it's common knowledge. It is kind of a little bit alarming at first when you see like this is my daughter, and then suddenly a tiefling comes out when it was like an elf. Um,
Hmm.
but it's not like weird.
Okay. I guess Lila's fairly traveled, so
Yeah.
she's seen stuff.
So at this point, Cassie does come running down the steps again, as following behind her by quite a few feet, um, is an older woman with gray hair, which is very clearly Jed's mom. She is using a cane to get down the steps, but it seems like the cane is more of an insurance in case something happens rather than something that she has to use at this point. And also having a cane kind of makes a little bit of a statement about things, and so she's definitely putting on a little bit of that as she sort of comes down the steps. Well, I'm not as young as I used to be, Cassie. I'm almost there, as Cassie is like literally like ants in her pants, dancing at the bottom of the steps, just excited. Jed, I see you. I see you came back.
Hi, Mom.
Hello. And she, of course, comes over and gives you a big hug.
Yeah, hug
I
her
am
back.
very happy to see you.
Me
So does this
too.
mean you're moving back here, or are you only here for a brief time?
Just I think 2 nights and 1 day. Um, real quick trip. I'm sorry.
Well,
Ain't you gonna introduce us?
Is
well.
Abner around also, Mom?
Oh, he might be in the basement. He's been tinkering around with brewery and all that stuff.
All right. I'm sure you guys will meet Abner at some point. But this is my mother, Imogen. My
Nice to
sister,
meet you.
Cassie.
And of course, Cassie's just like, "It's
Hi.
lovely to meet y'all," and she just runs up and she like bear hugs each one of you. As
Oh,
your mom just goes,
okay.
"Now, Cassie, be careful. You might hurt them." But she's just too
They're a
excited.
sturdy bunch. Don't worry, Mom. These are some of my new friends. Well, you know Chauncey, of course.
Chauncey
Yes, I do
freezes
remember
up when
Chauncey.
Cassie hugs him because he hasn't been in this home probably in like what 10, 11, 12 years after the falling out occurred. He hasn't
Very
been back.
true.
But these are my new friends I've been traveling around with.
Lila Devine, Charm.
Shaw.
I see. Hello.
Velantrios.
Very nice to meet you. And of course, we all know you. Well, I'm sure it's been a long journey. We are having a bit of a lull, so there's definitely plenty of rooms open upstairs for you all. Um, it was Cassie's idea to redo some of the rooms, so please don't mind the wallpaper. Oh, come on, it's not that bad. It's a modern pattern.
Oh God, I can't even
Well,
imagine what you would have put
Wow.
up there, Cassie.
you'll see. It's
Of course we will.
interesting. Luckily, it was expensive, so we didn't have to buy it for every room. And she kind of looks down a little bit and just, well, I said I'd pay for half of it, and I did. Either way, I'll get you the keys to your rooms, and you can pick which ones you would like.
And I'm sure Jed has a room here that's just his.
Yes, you do have a room here. Um, yeah, you do have your own room. So it's probably still kind of decorated like your childhood
Yeah.
room. So there's still like your favorite stuffed animal on the bed, maybe your favorite blanket that you used to drag around all the time when you were a kid, still draped over the end of the bed, maybe some children's books still on a little bookcase. It brings back a lot of memories, a lot of
Whew.
good and bad childhood memories.
Like nothing's
Velantrios is definitely
changed.
interested in sleep.
Crack cocaine?
Yeah, the rest of you get keys to your rooms. So half of your rooms are covered in this very interesting wallpaper. It is pink, a baby pink,
Oh god.
with green cactuses all over it that are in different positions,
Oh God.
with smiley faces and open mouth surprised faces. Some of them have little pink flowers on them, others don't. It's a very interesting choice of wallpaper. The rest of you just have a nice sort of rustic wood paneled walls where the molding has beautiful roses painted all over it. Your other rooms with the cactuses do have the painted molding, but they do not have the wooden paneling as the wallpaper has been put over it.
Okay.
Um,
So
I
who
will
of
allow
us
you all to choose who has the ugly wallpaper and who does not have the ugly wallpaper.
I
Ugly
just
wallpaper.
I grabbed the key with the regular wooden all the wooden stuff and I'm like,
The wood paneling. You're like,
yeah,
I
the
am
wood
taking that room.
I'll take the wallpaper for sure.
Like a regular room.
I think
Right.
it's charming.
of course you
Well,
would.
I'm glad you think so. I thought it was a lovely touch.
Cactuses. Why cactuses?
Why
Cacti.
Why
not
not?
Because it's
cactuses?
the Rose
See?
Garden Inn.
Well, there's still the roses up there, but you know.
Are there even any cactuses anywhere around here?
Well, there's some.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm just happy to see you, Cassie.
Just let people enjoy things.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go to Chauncey at some point. Maybe you and Abner should talk again. I know you two always kind of hit it off about the sciencey stuff.
I mean, I could go take a look at what he's doing in the basement as long as I don't wind up stuck down there.
Why
Do you want to go look at your brother's things in the basement?
Yeah, I'll go say hi to Abner.
Yeah. So the two of you go downstairs into what is usually the wine cellar sort of storage area for food and things like that that are served in the little bistro area of your lovely little inn. And Abner has taken over a corner of this place, where he has like alembics and vials and Bunsen burners and all kinds of jars and vials and things of that nature, um, that are all kind of stacked up as he's reading several books at the same time, as he's wont to do, kind of flicking back and forth between them as he's kind of picking out passages.
I'll
One of
walk
them appears to
downstairs.
be a
Be like, Abner, what in O's name are you getting up to down here?
Well, our usual supplier of rosé decided to hike the prices, so I decided it can't be that hard to make. So I am trying to make rosé so we can finally have some kind of house special.
Huh,
Could
neat.
I history or nature check or something to see if I could see if there's some way I could help him get this better if he's having trouble?
Sure.
Or a tool check? Brewer's
Um,
tools or a tool? I don't know if a
yeah,
brewer's
give me
tool is
brewer's tools.
Okay. What modifier can I add to this check with brewer's tools?
I think it would be intelligence.
Oh, thank God. I only rolled a 5 plus 6 for tool expertise plus another 5 is
I'll
16.
give you a guidance if I notice you doing something.
Plus 1 off of guidance is a 17.
Okay. Um, so you notice because he's beginning to store the bottles sort of at an angle with the sort of cork side down, he's trying to make a sparkling rosé. But you notice it should probably be at a steeper angle than what he has.
Oh, Abner, you may want to increase that angle by about 13%. it'll help increase the circulation of the gases in there to really get it to pop, you know?
And he kind of pushes the bottle. He takes one of the bottles and just kind of pushes it up a little bit, like this.
Yeah. Here. And I'm just gonna like fix the shelf underneath it.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah,
always
you
got
get in
together
there and
well
you
about
just
that
like
nerd shit.
wiggle the board until the nails come out, and then you pull the board down a little bit and just start hammering the board back in. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, that might work. Can you do the rest of them? I have like 3 other rows, and then that one's going to get filled with bottles sooner or later."
I mean, sure, we're gonna be in town for about 2-ish days. I should have plenty of time to help out down here. How have you been?
I've I've been doing all right. I've been doing my reading and all that stuff. Um, not
Also,
really
it's
much
good to see
else.
you, asshole. And I come over and I like bring him into a hug.
He does hug you back. It is very nice to see you. Um, well, how have the both of you been?
Good, good. Drake's Ridge is great. You know, a lot of. It's a great town. Great town.
He's
Yeah,
made a
I've
ton of
been.
friends there.
Well, you might need to introduce me to some of them. I've
Right.
I've been starting to hear things about Drake's Ridge. They're starting to really build themselves up.
Abner 100% knows I'm there for revenge.
You kind of get the sense that he's
Yeah.
kind of dancing
He's
around the
dancing
subject.
as am I. Like
You both are kind of like awkwardly dancing
mm-hmm,
around the
mm-hmm,
bush that both of you fully recognize is there.
mm-hmm.
I
He's
will
made a,
let Chauncey decide if he picks up on that.
I mean, Chauncey knows the revenge plot, but also Chauncey's really bad at reading people.
Oh,
So, like, I don't know if he knows that his family. Well, does would Jed have told Chauncey that Jed told the rest of his family the revenge plans?
I don't know. I mean, it's probably not hard to infer. Like
Sure.
you've talked to all the siblings, and you know all of us are vaguely vengeful about the whole deal.
Yeah, Chauncey's just gonna be like, he's made a ton of really nice, innocent friends.
And you
Yeah,
you watch as Abner just kind of I'm sure he has.
I live there
Kind of slow
too.
nods.
yeah. Chauncey actually lives there with his ex.
Thanks, Jed.
Oh, so
You don't.
you okay. I
Mm-hmm.
don't think they didn't know about Delm, did they?
No, I don't think they ever heard about Delm.
No, Jed's family would not have heard about him.
Okay.
Chauncey's family would have heard about him in letters, but Jed's family no.
That
So
is
that's going
certainly an
great. That's just really going good.
I'm sure that is.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to have dinner tonight or something.
I I think we were gonna I forget why, but we were gonna use some tickets we had saved from your mom, Chauncey, gave us some tickets to the opera for one of Winifred's performances tonight.
Oh,
Um,
well,
I,
we're actually
I'm
probably
sure
gonna go
we
see.
have
Uh,
some tickets lying around we might be able to use.
So my mom still comes around to visit.
Occasionally, yes, not that often, but just for like afternoon tea, like once every 2 months or something.
Not nice of her. Um,
Chauncey's like genuinely surprised.
we'll have to go pay her a visit after this.
We certainly would, especially to thank her for the tickets, because those tickets can get expensive. Your
Oh yeah.
sister's a big draw at the opera house, so when she's performing, they tend to hack the price.
Let's not let Lyla try singing in front of her.
Lala has been kind of hit or miss lately.
Oh,
Super lucky she can't hear that right now.
Super lucky she's oogling the wallpaper.
Yeah, right.
maybe we'll catch you there tonight, Abner. We got some more rounds to make.
Well, I'm sure Mom's gonna drag you along, especially because I'm sure she's gonna want to have a nice fancy dinner.
Well, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, she's planning on going to Troubadours. I think
Troubadours.
I think we went like once when we were little, but it
Yeah,
was
jeez.
expensive. It was
We're
like
eating good
5 gold a
tonight, then, I
meal.
guess.
She's been wanting to go for a while, and she's been saving up a bit of money. But yeah, 5 gold a meal.
That's
My goodness,
a bit pricey, definitely.
it is.
Well, good luck with the rosé. I think we best be getting a move on.
So while Jedidiah, Chauncey, and the a-hole brother apparently,
Not an asshole. He's just not the most lovey-dovey.
right, are having their little meeting in the cellar.
Yes.
Yeah. Remember how back way when Velantrios tried to like sneak into into Jedidiah's convent bedroom and found nothing?
Yeah.
He wants to do that again.
oh no.
Oh dear. All right. Give me a stealth check.
Well, I mean, I would turn into like a fly.
All right. Spend one of your wild shapes, turn into a fly, head on in.
Wild shape, where are you? Features? Yes. There we go. And then he would want to, along with just regular looking around, he would also like to do detect magic.
I don't think you can cast.
Not during wild shape, no.
Not during
Yeah.
wild shape. So you'd have to cast it and then go into wild shape.
Yeah. And then
So
hold
just reverse.
concentration.
I'll just because
Yeah.
this isn't in the middle of combat, I'll let you
Yeah.
reverse the order of that and just say you cast it before wild shaping into a fly.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So I will let Jed describe what is in his room. Actually, give me an investigation check first, since you're gonna fly in and kind of buzz around.
Oh boy.
You get to keep your investigation as a fly since you're a druid.
Okay. 11.
All right, Jedidiah, what does he find in your room?
On an 11, I don't think very much, right?
Probably not.
I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot from Jed's past. I'll say there's probably like a picture, like an illustration done by Chauncey that you would like recognize his penmanship is like framed somewhere in the room. It's probably like a picture of young Jed that Chauncey drew at some point in their youth. Um, and I think maybe even like it's like torn and then like put back together.
Oh,
um, do you think I need to make it juicier, Spencer?
No, I think that's fine. You probably just see the regular stuff like the blanket Jed probably
Yeah.
slept with as a kid, his favorite stuffed animal, whatever shape that took. Maybe if you feel like Jed would have played with a rocking horse when he was a child, maybe a rocking horse that's still in the room but like tucked up in the corner to make space for like more mature sort of teenage activities later on. Um, Probably a few children's books, maybe a few chapter books. but nothing that
I
anyone
guess
over
maybe the
14 would
juiciest
read.
thing might be like you go into like his wardrobe and there's like all his normal clothes, but then like one like older cleric robe that Jed probably stole from a church somewhere.
Yeah, that's really about it. That's all you
Okay.
find.
All right. He's just gonna head back to his room.
Yeah. So as you all are kind of getting unpacked, um, you Jedidiah, your mom comes up to you at some point, and so do you think your friends would be interested in seeing Winifred tonight at her performance?
Right, Abner was talking about that. Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. Especially Chauncey. We were about to go
I
see
I
his
figured.
mother. And I was gonna ask her there if she had any extra tickets. But yeah, I'd love to. I'm only in town a couple days. I definitely want to spend some quality time, I guess.
Of course. Yeah, I had some extra tickets lying around that were good for a little while. Since Chauncey's mom is able to collect like these, they're interesting tickets. They're not like normal tickets. They stay until you use them or until about a month or two passes.
Oh,
Um, they're only good for one performance, but they stay good for a month. There's other restrictions on them, but we can use them to go and see Winifred. And I think it would be nice to take your friends along.
I'm sure they would love it. I think there's like a lot of tension between him and his mom right now. Like the vibe of the siblings is like we don't want the specifics, but we're low key on board for the revenge. And
Hmm.
mom is like against it.
Yeah.
Um,
So this kind of feels as she like approaches you and says this feels very much like a sort of like
like an olive branch.
that, as well as a sort of almost distraction, hoping that eventually you'll
Yeah.
forget about. She knows it won't, but it's almost an attempt for her own sanity to
Yep.
extend this offer to like maybe he'll forget, knowing full
Yeah.
on that
We'd love
you
to,
won't.
Mom. It's only a couple days though. We do gotta get out of here pretty soon.
Well,
But we'd
I
love to
was
see the show.
well, there is a performance tonight that the three of us were planning on going to. But we do have enough tickets to cover everybody.
Oh, wow. All right.
And
Yeah,
I
I'll
have
let
enough
everyone
money in
know.
my rainy day fund that we all can go to Troubadours afterwards.
Oh,
Um,
Mom, that is such an expensive restaurant
it is, but
for
I've
all of us.
been well, I've been saving. I've been saving, and luckily, Abner has been putting himself to good use, and Cassie certainly has made a few carpenter friends that offer me a few lovely discounts in exchange for a few things like a knot here and there, maybe a free meal at our little bistro. But so I've been able to save quite a bit of money, and I thought it might just be nice to do something nice for once and not have to worry about work all the time, which also
Um,
feels like a not so subtle jab.
yeah, right. A break would be great. Yeah, we'd all love it. And the Troubadour, I'm sure. Lyla especially has been really talking her ear off about wanting some of the finer things, I think. So I think she'll love it. I think, yeah, that sounds great.
Well, make sure you tell all your friends to get ready and put on the nicest clothes they have. I'm not sure how nice of clothes they have from traveling as much as you all must have done, but something nice, maybe at least a bow tie.
I'm sure we can cobble something together.
Well, performance is at 8. And dinner will probably be around 11. So shouldn't be too
We're
long
eating after
now.
the show.
Yes.
Wow. Mom, you out after 11?
I know. I know. Usually I'm in bed by 9, but I decided that maybe today might stay up a little bit more, treat myself just a little bit.
It's it's good to see you, Mom. I've missed home.
She doesn't say anything at that point. She just pulls you into another hug and just kind of stands there a little bit
I actually had
before.
something I wanted to ask. Just because it's been a while since I've been home, and I thought maybe it'd be good to keep in touch a little more. Um,
Mhm.
if you and I just kind of like hold out my arm, like you can. I have some magic. If 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 you put your name on my arm, I can talk to you anytime I want to.
All right. And she kind of hesitates for a moment as you pull up your like arm covered in tattoos, and
Yeah.
there's kind of that she knows it, but she could kind of push that all back up until
Yeah.
this point where it's like, I now have to actively engage with this. And I am not sure how comfortable I am. And there's a good maybe 30 seconds of her kind of like, all right. And then finally she reaches out and just touches your arm, and her name appears on your
Yeah.
arm.
I think it might even be a little more upsetting for her as it literally like sears itself into my arm. And like I definitely like wince a little bit as it happens.
Yeah, at that point, she definitely like, you're probably near one of the rooms, so she definitely turns and like gets a cloth and pours some water on it, and oh darling, and just starts like
I'm
dabbing
sorry,
the.
it's fine. It's fine, it's really fine. I'm sorry, yeah, it's just but now I can anytime I like cast a sending spell and like just right now I'm like, hey mom. And it just
Oh,
like appears in her head like
oh, that's mighty handy.
yeah, so
um
now wherever I am, I can always check in.
well, that is silver lining. um
Yeah.
well, how about you go tell your friends, and I'll go freshen up so we can head out as soon as possible, so we can get some nice seats for the
Awesome.
show.
Yeah. What time is it right now?
I'm gonna say walking over to the Rose Inn, because you all pulled in around 11 o'clock. So walking to the Rose Inn, having the conversation with all the conversations, getting your rooms packed up and unpacked, going down and seeing Abner, things like that. It's probably maybe around like 4 o'clock. But given that this is like old timey times, your sister and your mom are probably going to have to take a while to get ready, because they're probably going to have to like
Sure.
strap into like several layers of clothing
So
that
we still
need,
have time to like go by Chauncey's before the show.
a little bit, yes. It would be a bit of a rush. I would say that Chauncey's mom's clinic is probably in the workers' quarter. That isn't that far away, but it is a bit of a walk, and you might need to jog back if you are going to go.
All right, well, I'll ask the group. We'll reconvene. All right, everyone. My mom's got us tickets to go see Chauncey's sister perform. Um, we do
A
need to
show?
dinner and a show. My mom's gonna take
Ooh.
us out to Troubadour later on, very fancy restaurant.
Um,
So we also need to dress kind of nice for that. So we need to work on that. I don't think most of
Velantrios
us
looks
brought.
down. Velantrios looks down at the basic rags that he's wearing.
Yeah. we gonna need to do something about that.
Chauncey's just gonna crack all of the fingers in his hands.
Let's fix him up real quick.
Velantrios is suddenly like feeling very nervous and starting to back away.
Chauncey's
how,
on wardrobe,
How many
I'm on hair and
tailored
makeup.
suits can you make in like 3 hours?
How much magic am I supposed to use to do these?
I do have. I think I probably have a suit that's just like in my closet here.
Something nice. Maybe
How
not
tall are you?
exactly a suit,
I'm
but
gonna say I can disguise myself to have a nice outfit.
yes.
So
you-
if
you
either
can.
Shaw or Volantrios is around like 6 feet tall or something, then we can probably share my suit. So Chauncey only needs to make one.
Velantrios is 5'9".
I'll
All
take
right.
the suit then.
All right. So come here, Shaw. We'll get ready together. Just you and me, Shaw.
Oh, great. Oh, no.
I'll take Shaw into my room while
Oh,
Chauncey
God.
works on Velantrios.
Yep.
Chauncey's just gonna pull out a thing of measuring tape and he's just gonna like, don't be alarmed, but arms up, wingspan, and he's gonna do the instep to the groin and he's gonna be like, it's fine.
Yep. You go through the full suit
Yeah.
fitting process,
This all makes him very uncomfortable.
I'm sure.
And I'm sure Lila's fine. I'm sure Lyla...
Lyla has just like millions of dresses somehow shoved into her bag. She's just like, I got it, and opens the chest. It's just swing like one of those worms in a can. Just dresses fly out.
She actually yes, she does, but like she doesn't even need to. Like while y'all are talking about like, oh, we gotta figure something out, she'll just like look down and so she's in her like
a
yellow
weave.
yellow dress. Yeah, she has shift weave and she'll just like, is this better? And suddenly she's in like a green like satin nightgown. Her hair's straightened instead of curly now, like
Absolutely stunning.
like that.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
And I'll take Shaw into my room. And it's like a little bit awkward. It's like a pretty small room, and like it's like my childhood room, and I just have like one wardrobe when I open it, and it's like just full of my regular clothes.
You
like,
see the rocking horse in the
okay.
corner just staring at you, mouth open.
Ooh, looks like the moths might have gotten to it a little bit. Maybe Chauncey can fix that. But go ahead and try it on.
I'll just like turn around. Like...
Yeah, I'll just like turn my back to you as soon as you like put it on.
You want a suit? Do you want some dress robes? Do you want... What are we feeling, Velantrios? Where's our vision going?
Back home in the forest.
Now, darling, think of it like... Well, you know how birds, they present themselves very flashy in a mating season dance?
Yeah.
This is like that on a grand scale for people. But we don't have feathers, we have clothes.
Okay.
Right.
Amazing.
It's less
amazing.
about
Speaking of
making,
feathers,
more about not embarrassing the rest of us.
Velantrios gives Lyla the death stare of all death stares.
but we could
Hang
do...
on. Let's polish these horns a little bit. She's like gonna get like a little bit of wax like out of her bag. Like,
Oh yeah. Kind of starting to
Velantrios
polish
is
the
just
horns.
like, if it could feel like I'm not wearing that many layers, please.
Okay, then we'll skip a traditional men's suit of, I suppose. What about something a little bohemia, a little... Chauncey's just gonna like very quickly sketch up like a few different options of like, here's a set of like dressy robes with... we still have those dresses that you bought, those sundresses. I could cut those up and use the fabric, the patterns.
Okay, I like the patterns.
You liked the floral stuff.
We can do something very loose and flowing, a loose fit, large, wide, slack pant, a nice top, a nice blouse of sorts with a lot of breathing room. Maybe just a little bit of cinching with a chain or two at the waist. How's that sound?
I mean, I wouldn't.
I like to think while this is happening, I'm
Oh,
like
you'll
having to
be
like.
fine. Yeah.
I know I was really skinny. Okay, yank it up.
With Shaw.
Lila's just like gonna steer Velantrios like over to like, it's okay. You're gonna be fine, sweetheart. Just come on over here. Sit down.
So with Velantrios' input, Chauncey's just gonna craft him a flowy dream dress outfit, be it something roby, something suity, something.
I'm imagining like very tailored like shirt and slacks and shoes with like a flowy robe with floral pattern, like something very fitting, but also something over him that makes it feel like he has like a lot of space to move around in.
Okay. So yeah, we'll do that using the fabrics that we have on hand and maybe some of those sundress fabrics.
Yes.
Can that count as the help action?
Yes. I will allow for that.
Yay! Holy shit. Okay. That's bad.
Oh no!
Oh no.
Quick,
I rolled
important.
2 3s.
I'm not there.
Uh-oh.
I have to see it for porn to work.
Okay, I know the seams ripped a little bit. Chauncey can fix that.
So with my mod,
It's fine.
can
It's fine.
Can I guidance it, Spencer?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So a 5 plus 11 is 16.
Okay. Not bad. Yeah, you managed to make something. It's not quite as expensive looking as you may have wanted it to, but it's not going to turn heads. People aren't going to look and go, ew, that's ugly, or ew, that's pedestrian, or ew, that's peasant-like. It'll blend in with everybody else's. It suffices.
I'm sorry, it's a bit of a rush job. I wish. Oh, I have to get changed too.
Standing there with still soot on your face. A bit of soot.
I don't suppose one could wear armor to an opera. That would probably be a bad idea. Oh, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go change in my own room.
Yep, and so Chauncey, you
I want
head
to
on
take
back to your room.
one second here. Once we get Shaw fully dressed, I'll just kind of like, okay, and I'm gonna look at you like, all right, I'm sorry about the, oh, you know.
I'm sorry about this.
And I know you were just curious.
Just
I
curious.
haven't been
Also,
very
your
forthcoming
family,
with you.
not what I expected. Very
I mean, human.
human. Yeah.
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 It's a long story. But
It happens. You know, all of this, like pointing at your like childhood shit,
Mhm.
really, yeah, makes you
I
more of
take a
real
little teddy bear. I'm like, you mean Mr. Jeremy Baramy?
Yeah, just like that. Yeah, it really makes you more. Yeah,
You're gonna
yeah.
say human?
No, I didn't
But
want to say
I'm not a
that.
human,
Yeah,
so-
yes. Yeah. I was gonna say humanizes you, but that feels very
Awkward.
Look, I'm not gonna claim to be above reading people's minds. I've done it, but
Noticed him.
I appreciate, at least now, a little bit of discretion, some privacy, and you've been doing a good job, Shaw. And I know the whole group appreciates you being here. So,
That's the first
You
time a
don't look
man's
half
ever
bad
told
in
me
my
I was
old
doing a
suit.
good job.
Oh, damn.
Oh my.
Ooh.
Can I roll insight on that?
Sure, go ahead.
Insight. Oh, I did bad. I'm not even gonna guidance that. That's a 7. Whatever. I don't pick up on it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you look pretty good in my old suit.
Thanks, Jed.
So
There's just like this one
really
button
appreciate
on
it.
the suit that's holding on for dear life.
we should get Chauncey to look at that.
Yeah, and it's an easy enough thing to fix. You don't even need to make a roll. It's an easy enough thing to just like shift it down a little bit, shift it over a little bit more, and it
As
fits
we
perfectly.
start walking out of the room, I just like put my hand on your shoulder and I'm like, how about we tone down the psychic warfare a little bit? We both agree on that?
Deal.
All right.
Detect thought. No.
Third person joins the war.
I want entire sessions to only be telepathic.
Everyone just standing in a circle, staring very intently at each other.
I was gonna say, I mean, I can get there. We're just not there yet.
Completely
Fine.
ruined poker night. I mean,
just detect thoughts in each other, pressing into each other's minds. Like, what are your cards?
Everyone's thinking like.
On the bright side, that would be a great way to con some people in a card game.
Yeah.
right.
Mhm. It's just if everybody at the table is psychic, it's a problem.
Right. Then it just kind of sucks.
It's just like, oh, wow, we all had the same idea. Hi. Hi, friends.
Oh,
Yeah, so you all managed to get yourselves dressed, and you all head off to the old opera house.
ooh, I'm so excited.
It is very exciting. There's a lot of energy in this part of town when artistic events happen. You are all walking through, and you notice most other people in the crowd are all walking in the same direction. As you all are heading towards this huge opera house. Beautiful columns, and there's even statues along the roof, a huge grand staircase that goes up. And as you're walking, Jed, what's your passive perception?
Not good.
Oh, right.
It is 12.
All right. You know what? I'm going to say that that's enough. I
Hell
forgot your
yeah.
passive perception was so low. As you're
I'm not
walking
wise.
along, you see a figure. You don't recognize this figure from anywhere that you've seen, but you recognize what somebody's told you about her. Tall, stern, blonde-haired woman that locks eyes with you for a moment,
Shit.
but lets you pass.
As soon as I'm out of eyesight, I want to disguise myself into somebody else.
You all watch as Jed just disguises himself as somebody else and just
some
keeps on
random man
walking.
that we walked by 20 minutes ago.
Oh my god.
Still
Just
wearing
like
a very
a-
nice suit.
Child runs up to you, Dad.
Well, maybe we'll
Yes.
have to have that roll later. Anyway, so you all finally enter the old opera house. It is filled with people. Luckily, you got there early enough. You managed to get some good seats. Close to the front, but not too close to the front. You can see the individual boards on the stage, but you're far enough back that if something gets thrown off the stage, it's not going to hit you. You can kind of sort of see into the orchestra pit and see the people that are there. The curtain is drawn, and you all sit down, and there's probably a good 45 minutes of just small talk that goes on before finally the orchestra strikes up and they begin to dim the lights, which are, of course, continual flames that they just have little, like, metal rotating sheets that they just slowly pull across it to dim the lights.
I want to think somebody like was like, Jed, what the fuck?
Surprisingly, no one
ask
mentioned
right
it.
now.
Yeah, no, I was definitely gonna, but then he was like, and you enter the theater, and I'm like, you know what, it's fine.
Not right now.
Yeah, even your mom kind of gave you a little quizzical look as she saw you cast the spell and just suddenly it's like
I'll tell you later.
When Jed's face just says it all, like, don't.
Yeah.
his face that is not his yet somehow reacts like his. Yeah. So the show begins. You would know your sister is part of a vaudeville act. It's a bunch of different variety acts, of course. So there's a wonderful magician who uses illusion magic very well to create beautiful fireworks that go off over the audience. He even creates uh an explosion of fireworks that shapes itself into a horse that he actually gets onto and rides over the audience. There is a one-act play that goes on that's very clearly for the children in the audience that were dragged along and will probably not be paying very much attention near the end of it, of a jester who gets freaked out when he knocks over one of the urns in the castle, believing it to be the king's mother's ashes, and imagines various ways in which he'll be punished until the king comes in and says, "That was a flower pot, you idiot," and then hits him with a fish, and that's the end of the one act.
Love it.
There are quite a few dance acts that go on, including one with a horse that, given how you didn't really see a horse come on stage, must have been someone polymorphing into a horse. It just appeared on the stage. You don't know how. That was just one of the acts. There's a lot of singing. There's a very beautiful duet that happens between two ladies on the stage. It's very, very beautiful. Kind of like the flower duet, if you've ever heard that. It's very much that. And finally, we get to Winifred's act. As the curtain pulls itself back and there is her, she has put her hair into pigtails and is kneeling next to a prop bed. It's not as wide as a bed should be. It's really just there to have a bed on stage. You instantly know she's singing one of her sad songs. This is a rendition of a song from an old opera that isn't really performed very much anymore. It's called Polly, and it's the song Mother Don't Leave Me, which gets sung at the end of the first act when Polly's mother dies. Very strange act for a vaudeville act, but it is a very sad song. And Winifred has gotten better at singing since you last heard her. I would like everybody to make a wisdom saving throw as she sings Mother Don't Leave Me.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, I got a 2.
I got 15.
I got a 14.
21.
God damn it.
So the rest of you hold it together. Velantrios, it's hard for you to hold it together because the singing is so beautiful, but you manage to hold it together. Chauncey, you make it about 2 notes into the song before you start crying because you heard her work on this song and work through the emotion so that she wouldn't cry on stage when she was singing it, or at least not cry until she had to. Yeah, you make it 2 seconds in and you're ugly crying and having to like wipe
Oh,
your
God.
nose on a handkerchief.
Chauncey,
It just brings
so-
up too many memories.
He changed into like this high goth male Lolita outfit in his room because he tailored it himself, of course.
Of course.
He's just like got a matching handkerchief that is becoming very bloodstained as he's cleaning off his tears. And he's like, she's so good.
Yeah.
God.
Chauncey.
Just
Put your
reach
stuff
over and like
together.
pat him on the shoulder, like it's
Yeah, like you very much, it's not one of those songs where it's like, why are you crying? It's very much supposed to be a let's make the audience cry,
Yeah.
stab, stab, stab kind of songs. Like, this is a child's mother dying on stage, and this is a child asking her mom not to leave as she dies. And then the final act is all of the singing acts come together and they sing a big bombastic number, kind of like a One Day More kind of number. And there is a moment right near the end of the song where everybody reaches a crescendo and stops singing to let Winifred do like a 20-second riff as she hits the highest note she can. The audience is cheering, and then they come back together with this huge crash and crescendo as they hit the kind of One Day More, as the curtain begins to lower itself and the lights come back on and everybody gives a standing ovation. It was a wonderful show and a wonderful performance as everybody is just applauding, roaring, and the theater begins to empty out. Of course, at that point, you all make your way over to Troubadours. We'll just kind of fast forward through this because it's not very interesting. It's a fabulous restaurant. Lyla, this is everything you would ever want out of a restaurant. Beautiful, beautiful centerpieces. A beautiful chandelier hangs over this sort of arched rooftop. It is 2 stories with tables both levels. You end up sitting on the floor, the ground floor. It is kind of a fixed dinner service, so you get served an appetizer of oysters, followed by a very delicious, succulent steak, a vegetable soup before you're then served poached pears, and finally a silver dish with a brand new craze that's been taking over Creators Hollow is ice cream. And
Yay.
you get lavender, a scoop of lavender, a scoop of cucumber, and a scoop of vanilla ice cream along with a silver spoon that you all get to eat this delicious new craze that's been sweeping the nation.
I think I'm gonna melt.
It is very good. The lavender one kind of tastes a little soapy, but very, very floral. The cucumber one isn't as startlingly cucumber as you thought it would be. It's a very subtle flavor, and then the vanilla is just a regular vanilla. It's nice and sweet and a vanilla flavor. And you do pay, and it is expensive. It is like 3 gold a pop. So your mom is definitely shelling out like 30 gold for this meal. Just to have it, but it was so good. It was the best steak. It was the best cooked vegetables, beautiful, fresh, almost fresh from the sea oysters. It is amazing. And you all head home for the evening. It's probably about 1 in the morning when you finally get home to the Rose Inn. And as you all are kind of getting up to your room, there is a ring of the desk bell. It is loud and clear and startling given how quiet the Rose Inn was when you got back. And Cassie and your mom kind of look back and forth between each other. People don't usually come in this late. And there's another ding.
Is anybody gonna get that or?
I don't work here anymore, so.
All right. Well, I'll go down.
I'll go with you, dear.
All right.
I want to, as Lyla is going down, speak into her mind. let me know if it's a very tall woman. You say with blonde hair, Spencer? What
Yes,
was that?
blonde hair.
A tall woman with blonde hair.
Okay.
And we have the psychic connection that stays open.
Mm-hmm. So
So
yeah, you get downstairs, and this tall blonde woman is just about to ring the bell again as Cassie comes down. Well, hello, how can I help you? Oh, yes. I would like a room here, please, if it isn't too much trouble. All right. What
I'm
name should
afraid
I?
my friends and I did just book up the last one, didn't we, Cassie?
Thank you, Lyla.
She's gonna make a roll. See if your sister catches on to
Come on,
what's going
Cassie.
on.
Come on.
Persuasion check? I don't know. Something?
She rolled a 15, so I'm gonna say she kind of, oh yeah, that's right. We did just book out the last room. Unfortunately, there is a few other inns on the street that you can. Well, that's unfortunate. However, there is somebody here that I would like to see. Um,
Oh, and who might that be?
it's
I would like to cast invisibility and go downstairs on myself.
let me check and see if she has something to combat that. Do. Huh. Okay. So you head downstairs,
As stealthily as
invisible,
possible.
stealthily. Yep, give me a stealth check.
I get advantage from
Invisibility.
That is an unnatural 20.
Yeah.
All right. Yep, you creep down the stairs, completely and utterly invisible. And you see this woman that you saw before in the crowd standing there as Cassie is very clearly a little nervous, and Lyla is, I don't know, is Lyla isn't nervous.
Not even the slightest.
I speak into your mind. I'm like, I'm downstairs. She's dangerous.
Is that why I'm doing this?
Well, I guess I will just head up there and see if I can find him. And she turns and locks eyes with you, Jed.
Yeah?
There you are. Lovely to meet you again.
Oh,
all right.
shit. Above game.
Yes.
I'll release the invisibility.
Yep, you watch as Jed appears.
I don't believe we've had the pleasure of meeting.
Well, that's unfortunate.
I would like
and at
to,
this point,
as subtly as possible, use my Rod of the Pack Keep to regain that spell slot.
Yep, you certainly can. And she, let me just look at this. You watch as she suddenly glows with a brilliant light that just blasts outward. It is nearly blinding, but not quite, as she seems to grow.
A spell or an
No,
effect?
it is not a spell. It's just an effect.
Oh my
It
God.
also doesn't blind you. She's just getting out of her disguise. She is even taller. Her hair is made of white noonday sunlight. Her eyes blaze with it as well as she holds a stained glass lantern. These huge wings spread out. They are almost like brown hawk wings, but they glow with the sort of oranges and yellows and purples and gold of the moment just after the time period, just after the golden hour, but just before twilight itself, when the sun is beginning to set. And she announces in a voice that thunders, I am Zariah, and I am here to carry out the execution from Aradiel, ordered on you, servant of the traitor. It's very fitting that you are traveling with these monsters. She turns and
Excuse
makes a
me?
gesture at Lyla. A chameleon, and I saw you were traveling with a leech as well, and a child of the devil.
What?
After I execute you, I will execute the rest of these monsters and rid the world of their filth. And she pulls out a stick, a golden stick, and forming at the end of it, blasting outward, is a miniature star where you actually see points grow off of it as she conjures her morning star. Face me and face your execution, Jedidiah Alastor. And that is the end of our session this week. Join us next week as we enter combat immediately with
Yay.
Zariah, servant of Aradiel, enemy of Mazarendael. It is going to be incredibly exciting.